Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Want to watch this episode? Check it out on my YouTube channel by going to youtube.com/@lanternslive. Do you think, like, Man of Tomorrow, do you think we're going to get Kyle Chandler?
Man, that's tough. I would love to, but that would be a whole lot of Green Lantern in Superman Lex Luthor movie, you know?
We're dealing with Brainiac.
I know. But then also, how do you make that work with? I mean, you could say, okay, if Guy Gardner is the Green Lantern of Earth and Jon Stewart is Honor Guard, would you then have Hal be Honor Guard too?
I think if James Gunn can drop in Guy Gardner into a movie with zero explanation and they just say he's Green Lantern, you could do that with anybody. Right.
Yeah, but there's going to be like 71 people on Twitter who are very mad that there's multiple human Green Lanterns in a movie, and they're going to feel like you've got to explain it to them directly. Like, I'll be cool with it just seeing Hal.
Yeah. I don't know. Just do it. Let's do it.
I mean, I'm ready
they gotta
for
get
whatever.
people. They need to sell. They need to sell HBO subscriptions.
They do, but
so like
will that movie be the thing that drives? That's to get butts in seats for the theaters.
Do you think DC would have put out this Guy Gardner book if it wasn't for Superman? Right.
Not a shot. Not a shot.
So, like, I feel like, you know, go sell some books. Go sell some Hal Jordan books. Go get people to get subscriptions to HBO. Like, just put them in there. Just let's do it.
I think that there are times where some of like the rumors, it's hard to go back now and look at what the old comics were in this Jeremy Adams Green Lantern run, but I feel like at different times there were rumors or leaks about what the story of Lanterns was going to be and things that we would see, and I feel like some of that like found a way to reflect itself in the early part of Jeremy's run, where I would hear this thing about something that might be happening in Lanterns, and then something very similar would happen in like issue 12 of the Green Lantern run. Do I think Guy Gardner randomly would have popped off with a one-off special issue in the middle of this run that focuses on Hal and Kyle and not have a one-off for John? We start with Guy. I think that's because of the success with the Superman movie and how much people enjoyed Guy Gardner's portrayal. I think that it's smart to try to put him in other things. And it being a one-off issue, you don't really need to know a ton about like what came before or where it's going after. But maybe if you like this enough because you like the Superman movie portrayal and then you like this one-off, which I thought it was a great one-off, then maybe you'll find like you'll go, where is the story now? And then you'll jump in at this point too going forward, hoping to get more Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, people were mad. People were so mad that Guy Gardner was going to be the Green Lantern. People were mad that he had the bowl cut. People were mad that, like, it wasn't the right shade of red. And now it seems like all of those people went away.
A lot of them did. There's still some out there that are hanging on to it. I see this Photoshop that people have done of him where it, like, makes the hair more red and it gives him the comic accurate uniform.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of that is when they show that, that is no longer Nathan Fillion. They have they have given him performance enhancing drugs in that image because it's a skin tight under like the black suit over his arms, and he's jacked and his legs look huge. And even if you just look at his skin color gets darkened, and then he no longer has like any sort of wrinkles in his neck. He's like, he's studded out, and I just can't see Nate taking steroids just to do a Guy Gardner role. And it's like, okay, you could have put the comic accurate suit on him without also changing his arms, his neck, his legs, his skin color.
Like, listen, he's Guy Maxing. Like, listen, me and you both would love nothing more than to see a comic accurate Guy Gardner suit. Like, but what we're given, and like the Justice Gang thing and the Maxwell Lord stuff, like, didn't bother me as soon as I watched the movie. Like, it didn't even matter what he was wearing. He felt like Guy Gardner, so who cares? Like, for me, any sort of doubts like washed away after seeing the portrayal and seeing him in Peacemaker. Again, hoping for that comic accurate outfit in Lanterns. What we've seen so far is it's the same suit. But I think it's fine. And still, again, yes, we both want to see that. We definitely want to see the comic accurate suit. But at the same time, the fact that we're getting Guy Gardner is kind of nuts. We've had Guy Gardner in... We've now seen him in 3 different things. Superman, Peacemaker, and the Lanterns trailer.
Lanterns, yep. And we know he'll pop up in Man of Tomorrow, so he'll be in a 4th.
Do we know that for sure?
The trades, when they put out their like who's returning, he was name dropped as a returning cast for that.
Okay, cool. So we're getting at least 2 Lanterns.
And maybe we'll see some alien Lanterns.
Anyone who's not subscribed to Will's channel, A, fix that. B, go watch his recent post on the possibility of Chip being in the show. And then I want to add that I would love for Chip to sort of be in Man of Tomorrow the way I thought he was going to be in Superman, just like kind of hanging out near Guy. Like almost like a parrot or something, or like flying around. Just, I want Chip in every shot. Because I thought when they showed that squirrel, they brought that squirrel on set. There's the behind the scenes photos. I was like, why else would you have a squirrel? And I know Chip's more of a chipmunk, but has been sort of drawn like a squirrel. And then Badge, it's still some sort of kind of rodent. But I was like looking at shots from the trailer and being like, they deleted out Chip flying next to Guy in all of these shots. But that wasn't the case. But that's fine. Really, really hoping Chip's in there. You have a pretty good case. Highly recommend everybody go check out that video. I think there's
decent detective work done there. Where I was up way too late at night, couldn't sleep after putting the baby to sleep, and I just went down a rabbit hole. And like you're saying, when it comes to Guy Gardner and his costume, I think we've both talked about our hope was that by the end of the movie, he would like shun the whole Maxwell Lord thing and don a more character or comic accurate uniform. I still want him to do that. I'm just hoping that the long-term story of stuff that he's in, eventually we will get to that point where he bails on being in like the Justice Gang.
Right. To
be more of like an actual Green Lantern. Maybe it's John who will inspire him to do this, and we will get a cooler uniform. But also, to your point, I want to be very clear. In a perfect world, it's both a comic-accurate portrayal and a comic-accurate uniform. However, given a choice for me to have either the comic-accurate suit or a comic-accurate guy, I'd much rather have the comic-accurate guy than the uniform. Right. And that's my hope with the whole Lantern show, is that even if we're not getting comic-accurate suits for John and Hal, because obviously what Hal has been shown to be wearing is not comic-accurate, that at least the performance is so good that it makes up for in the same way that Guy Gardner did, or Nathan Fillion did as Guy Gardner, where people still accept a performance and glow about what they did get to see of him, and it's not too much of a talking point anymore about Guy's uniform.
Yeah. I kind of have this like thing where I feel like James Gunn's either working towards like a Justice League Unlimited thing or Super Friends, and that maybe it's not Hal that retires, it's Guy that retires. I wouldn't mind him. Nathan Fillion knows about Warriors, the bar that was here on Earth and then on Oa. And I wouldn't mind seeing Guy retire to open Warriors and then just have Jon Stewart be part of the Justice League. Yeah. Then Kyle Chandler can kind of pop in whenever he wants.
Or Guy can run Warriors. John can be Honor Guard. And we will need a new Green Lantern for Earth and Sector 2814 specifically, and just add in Kyle Rayner, baby.
Dude, I kind of want Man of Tomorrow to show the Daily Planet and give Kyle the sort of Adventures of Superman origins, where Kyle is a graphic designer for the Daily Planet. If they just
dig it.
Pop some kid in there just to play off of like Steve Lombard or anybody like that, and just sort of like, he's just there. We have it cast. We're ready to go. Maybe by Man of Tomorrow, Aaron Pierre is now the movie star Green Lantern for the DCU moving forward. And Lantern Season 2 has Kyle and I'm going to say Jessica. Even though Simon does show up first in comics, I feel like Jessica would be the way to go.
I mean, Simon can show up for like Season 3. They can keep doing this like 2 different lanterns. And I'm not saying it's got to be 2 different ones each time, but like at least give us 1 new lantern each season and kind of keep it rolling like that. I'm glad you're on the Chip Theory train. I just nobody who has watched it and messaged me on Discord or been in my comments or emails, not a single person has been able to pitch to me any other reason for why that gentleman would be hired in that role specifically for lanterns. Just saying. It's a good theory. I'd be a little bit disappointed if Chip's not around.
I'm excited to see Guardians. I'm hoping there's some of that involved. The fact that there's a puppeteer, and maybe we should reach out to this guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his own website.
I haven't tried reaching out to him. I should reach out to him and just maybe like ask him questions. The tough thing about IMDb is you can literally put anything on there.
Yeah, but I did my due diligence in going through the list of what is up there and clicking what they were for, and it does look legit, or they have on their own social medias have hinted that they're doing the job that IMDb says. Because normally I'm an anti-IMDb guy. I'm like, I don't trust that, especially if it's early on. You don't know how much is going to be true, and anybody can edit it as long as they're paying for the premium.
Yeah. I produced a documentary and people were adding their names in there, and I'm like, who are you? Like, I know everybody involved with this movie, and that person is not. So yeah, it's but it would be interesting. I might reach out.
Yeah, you should.
See if they want to come. I should reach out to everybody on IMDb.
Yeah, and then just say, look, if you don't want to share any info about the show, like, you got any props that you took home? Anything you can send I'm a super fan. Maybe something. Yeah.
Man, I'm fired up. I'm fired up for the show. We're like 2.5 months away.
Not a long time to go.
Really close. It's June. It's basically June, so we'll be pretty close to 2 months away. And I mean,
we got our GL June run among the Green Lantern Corps creators. Then July, we have San Diego Comic-Con. And then it's August. And it's time for the show.
We're going to start getting all kinds of stuff, too, because I don't know. Like, anytime something new comes out, I like to cover it. But we're going to start getting, like, TV spots and sponsored ads and shorts and reels and TikToks and all kinds of stuff. And there'll be, like, a minor change. I might have to do like a weekly recap or something of everything as far as Lanterns goes, instead of just trying to cover every single little thing. Unless it's huge. Like, obviously, if there's like a new short on Instagram or a reel and there's like a split second of like Sinestro's face, like I'm jumping on for that. But they like the HBO released another sizzle this week, and there's like maybe 2 or 3 split seconds of Lantern stuff, which Green Lantern reposted, DC reposted, everyone reposted it, but I'm like, there's no new information in it. So like for that, I'm good. But,
they were like, here's the HD shot of the front of Kyle Chandler's uniform as Hal Jordan, and I'm like, that's cool. But like, we already knew what it looked like. Like, we saw the shot; it just wasn't in HD, so it wasn't enough for me to jump on and cover either.
I think that's the problem too, is because that shot, he's in like the lower corner. Like, they show a lot of the science cell, and he's like kind of in the corner. And I think people were screenshotting that, and it just didn't look good. So I think they had those photos released so that people can get a better look at it, thinking that it was going to be like, oh man, look at it in HD. Now it looks rad. And for me, I'm like, it doesn't look rad. I can't. I'm trying really hard to stay positive on that suit. I'm doing everything I can to cope with that suit, but it doesn't scream Green Lantern to me.
This might ruffle some feathers, and I've been known to be okay with that. But if the internet is true, and everything is pointing to a Hal Jordan retirement or death by the end of the season, I just want a badass Hal, and the uniform is secondary. I'm more concerned with the second uniform, which is for Jon Stewart, to see what he looks like in his Green Lantern uniform, because I do believe for a lot of people that Aaron Pierre is about to be the Green Lantern that people think of when they think of who or what is a Green Lantern. Right. Like, he's coming up off of Rebel Ridge and a couple other things, like the Mufasa movie that either did rave reviews, like Rebel Ridge, won a bunch of awards. Mufasa made a ton of money. Now he's about to be in Lanterns as Jon Stewart, and then he's going to cross over onto the big screen as Jon Stewart in a Superman movie, which is kind of crazy to think about. Then he's also going to be popping up in a Star Wars movie with Ryan Gosling. Like, everything is there for this dude to, like, blow up huge.
Yeah.
And then the rumor on the contract is that he's still contracted out to do more than one season of Lanterns. So then he could be returning for season 2 of Lanterns. Like, his uniform needs to be the thing that looks super sick. The ring needs to look great on him. His character needs to be showcased in a way that, like, the next generation of Green Lantern fans who get into it would probably start from this show and the movie and all the other things that Aaron's doing. And then maybe that'll translate also to the comics, and we'll get, more and more sales for GL. But I think that this has a great chance to be like the next great addition to the fandom, which again might still upset some people. It's a lot of old timers who don't want newer fans coming in.
Right.
But I think the more the merrier.
Right. Those fans are there from Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and stuff. So I just want this. I've seen so many people do like Man of Tomorrow, either AI or Photoshop or stuff with Aaron Pierre in like a classic John suit, or I've seen like digital paintings and stuff where it's John in a classic suit and it looks really good. And I'm hoping like with James Gunn's DCU, I haven't had a problem with any of the costumes. I really haven't. They're definitely clothes. Like, you can see where the zippers are. You can see how they're put on, including Superman. But
I think the only one that's not like that is Metamorpho.
Yeah. He's basically wearing just trunks.
Yeah.
He's got his,
he's like a heavy CGI character.
Yeah, I think like I'm ready for Zack Snyder style bodysuit for Aaron Pierre instead of just clothes.
That would be my preference.
I'm ready for that. Along the lines of like Man of Steel, or Henry Cavill's like, I mean, he had like muscle stuff in it, but with Green Lantern, I don't feel like you need the muscle stuff. I think Aaron Pierre's doing fine in the muscle department. I don't think he needs extra padding.
No, I think.
But I'm ready.
Reynolds made his work. Like the body of the suit wasn't the issue that I had with the suit. It was like the weird stuff with the toes, like not being a boot of some sort. Like that's the part I didn't like, and the neck looks a little bit weird on his. But it wasn't like his physique. If he, Ryan Reynolds was shredded, but he wasn't like jacked like a bodybuilder. I think Aaron Pierre is maybe not as shredded, but he's a big dude in general. So like you said, I think if you throw a bodysuit type uniform on him, it's going to look great.
Yeah. I'm ready. We haven't seen one in James Gunn's movies yet. And I'm ready. I'm ready to see that style of suit. I think it works for Green Lanterns.
Yeah. And I don't want to see Chip wearing clothes. I want Chip to have like a CG uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally will. Totally will. Yeah. I don't mind the clothes. But like, Green Lantern's a little different, I think. And as much as I hate like people bitching and moaning and complaining about stuff online, all these Green Lantern fans coming out of the woodwork, I don't know where these guys are coming from. They're not coming to my channel, because if every single person who complained about Green Lantern on the internet subscribed to my page,
oh, you'd be rolling in it,
dude. We'd be stacked. I don't know where these people are coming from, because for the last like 40 years I've been a Green Lantern fan. I don't know where these people came from. I don't know. They're all experts in the exact same talking points.
Yes.
The suit's too brown. They should be glowing green. House too old. Yeah. I don't know where those people came from, but if they want to subscribe, go ahead. But I've never had a problem with any of the suits so far, but I think I'm ready for
the good news is
a little bit different for GL.
There's a ton of these people out there, so there's a lot of eyeballs on Lanterns now. If they make the show good, this could be huge for the Green Lantern fandom, especially if it can flip some of those negative opinions, which I don't know how much you follow the internet discourse, but when you went from the first teaser that they dropped to the newest one, there were a lot of people who had hated and were ripping the show to shreds for every decision of anything publicly known that we knew about Lanterns, to all of a sudden the take was, hey, this actually doesn't look bad anymore.
It's crazy, right?
So we'll see. We'll see. They still have to stick the landing.
In between those two teasers, the whole time we were saying, just wait to see the show. Chad over at LanternCast posted a comment on one of my TikToks that I posted from an old episode where I was basically like, let these people cook, let these people work on this stuff before you start berating them. And Chad responded basically the same thing. Like he said, hey, if that first hour of Lanterns comes out and it's like dog shit, I will do an episode that night and say that. But until then, he says, I want to check this thing out before bashing it. I'm in the same boat, and I've made every excuse about Hal's uniform, saying it was Alan Scott's, saying it was formal wear, saying it's not his basic uniform. There's two other uniforms that are probably more comic accurate or whatever. I had all kinds of like ways to cope with it. And then now I think I'm just giving in. But I will say this, based on one of your videos, you mentioned that a fan met Kyle Chandler at a minor league
baseball
ball game.
Yep.
And Kyle Chandler told that person that he wore a mask for the show.
Yeah.
Which we have yet to see.
And to that, I understand people being like already like, oh, I don't know if he was telling the truth, or maybe the guy was lying about the conversation they had at the ball game. But if you look at the shots we have seen of Kyle Chandler so far, when he's uniformed up, it's been like, okay, he's wearing the uniform, but he's around Sinestro. He doesn't need to wear the mask in front of Sinestro. Sinestro knows who he is. And then the other thing is, like, he's on TV on some recorded, old feature where he doesn't have the mask on. But this could have been, like, Hal, like, demasking for the world to, like, show that he doesn't have this fear so people know who he is. And that's maybe what inspires John when he gets older in life, that when he gets the ring, he doesn't want to wear a mask himself. Like, we don't know the context of that one. And the other shot is in front of somebody he knows where he doesn't need to mask up. So still, give it time. We've seen like a whopping 3 minutes of unique footage so far out of what's going to be 8 hours. Like, got a long way to go. We still don't even have the official trailer. We've only been given official teasers so far.
Yeah. Someone on Threads mentioned how come Lanterns is a TV series and not a movie, and James Gunn responded because 8 hours is too long for a movie. Which kind of made me happy because I'd rather have 8 hours of a Lanterns TV show than just like 2 hours of a movie. Like
100%. The selfish part of me, I want all the footage. Give me all the time. Plus, I want to be able to.
There's so much lore.
Like, even if you really loved Superman, or I don't know what the runtime was on Superman, but you go and you see it. And then you have a couple weeks, really, where you're still in the weeds as an online fandom discussing it because it just came out, been in theaters for 3 weeks, and people are still glowing about it and having their opinions on it. And then it kind of dies and goes away as you're preparing for the next project. With an HBO TV show, you're getting one episode a week, which means as Lantern fans, we're going to have the ability to have, probably like
every week,
12 to 16 weeks of being like in the deep part of the web, having conversations about Easter eggs, about what actually happened in the episodes, trying to predict what's happening in the upcoming episodes. Plus, while that's happening, there will still be more promo and teasers between episodes and new interviews coming out. And then once the season ends, if there's a green light, there's going to be more interviews going on about like what the potential direction for season 2 is. I would much rather have that than 2 hours of footage and like 1 month of conversation. We've waited so long to see the next live action Lanterns thing that I just want to hang on to it for as long as we possibly can.
DC Showcase, the official podcast for DC, is popping up in 2 days. And it's basically, it's on HBO Max, so it's basically like promoting the upcoming stuff. And so I'm assuming on Friday we'll get a lot of Supergirl talk, but there will be some Lanterns talk in there as well. And then once Superman comes out, or Supergirl comes out, then it'll be all Lanterns talk with some Clayface sprinkled in. And then it'll just be like, Clayface eventually. But man, I'm so fired up because they basically get to sit down with everybody. They showed some clips. They've already talked to Momoa about Lobo, and Millie Alcock and stuff. So it's going to be like, they're going to get the Aaron Pierres and the Kyle Chandler stuff in there. So like this is happening. Like Lanterns is happening. Like seriously, Friday morning, I'm going to do what I did with the first season of DC Showcase. Wake up, put it on. If they talk about Green Lantern stuff, I'm going to cut that up and post it as a TikTok, because that was a lot of fun just with watching like them talk about Creature Commandos and Superman it was like there's always Green Lantern stuff that slips into those things, and I'm gonna go and grab them as fast as I can, so people don't have to like sift through episodes to find the green nuggets. But now, if the whole show's gonna be like lanterns, I'm gonna be just like, holy cow! Like I can't cut up all this stuff. So there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be so a lot.
I want it to.
Yeah. Dave says 24-hour coverage in August. I mean,
that's what we got to do.
Pretty good with Riverside and getting episodes up fairly quickly.
Yeah, you are.
So I'm like, yeah, I'll be ready to go. Like, dude, you were telling me the other day, I was saying how I've just been wanting to do more TikToks, and I've just been grabbing stuff from my Riverside and just posting stuff. Today I just posted something about the Gumby clock because I thought it was funny. But you told me, oh yeah. I got his power battery. You told me don't get burnt out, and I'm like, dude, like I'm just starting to ramp up. Like I'm really starting to ramp up. I have like a show on Monday I need to do, the members live stream. I have no idea what it's going to be about yet. If anybody has a suggestion, let me know.
I got Dave, one for you.
Dave asked me to talk if I wanted to talk about masks. Like Dave's fairly new to Green Lantern. And it's like Kyle and Hal and Simon are the only one that wear masks. Like John doesn't, Guy doesn't. Yeah. Jess has a sort of half mask. Joe has like a clear like visor thing. Like it's pretty interesting. Me return from Oa. Yeah. Double A. This is the double A. What's fun about the clock is there's two batteries. One only operates the arm and one only operates the clock. So, yeah. You want to know what's funny? Is I'd never started the show proper. I never said welcome to Lanterns Live, the only live stream YouTube channel dedicated solely to Green Lantern. That's fine. I think all of this stuff which would normally be considered bonus episode stuff, is just going to be the show. So the audio version is going to be just basically all of this.
Sweet.
But I gotta say, the reason we're here today is to talk about Green Lantern 35. We weren't too stoked on Green Lantern issue 34. And for me, that bled over into this issue. And I'm not super excited to talk about it. And they named it, they call it the filler episode.
Filler episode is like double entendre, because this does feel like a filler episode type comic. And look, let me be clear. I understand completely, probably more than most, that once they did GL 600, even though we're still going up in number order, it was like a reset. So I don't mind them having a jumping on point for new fans who are like, I don't want to read all the original 30 whatever issues, but if I jump on here going forward, like, will I understand the story? And I think that I understand that it was going to be slower and there was going to have to be a build up. You weren't just going to have in the second issue of Kyle being the main GL, him just taking on several big bads or whatever. But I think they've acknowledged it by literally calling this a filler episode. And then it's also about Dr. Skin doing surgery, who would potentially be giving people in Hollywood some filler. But it definitely feels like it leans more towards the acknowledgement that I've put out a comic today that is just to get to the next issue of the comic.
Super important.
Yes, like it starts weird. There's a huge focus on Odyssey, not Kyle, not Hal. Doesn't give us a whole bunch of answers or really a ton to work with. There's a little bit of intrigue for something that popped up throughout the comic that wasn't really a talking point before. So like that's cool. But I want to see, and I think I'm ready to see, Kyle to like shake off the cobwebs of being the main GL now and like really get after it, clear Earth of the other enemies that belong back in the science cells.
Science cells, yeah.
And then let's start patrolling the sector, not just Earth.
when GL 600 came out and there was like previews were showing that Kyle Rayner was kind of going to become like the main sort of focus in the book, like my brain immediately went to Green Lantern New Guardians when Kyle had his own book, and I was like, man, look at Kyle out in space doing White Lantern stuff and hanging out with Carol. All that stuff was like so good. I love that book. And basically the way that they did a reset, and I've talked about this before, anytime they do a reset, it starts off with the GL back on Earth doing sort of Earth-based stuff. It's why I think the show should be starting on Earth, like a True Detective style show. But for me, like, this is basically bringing Kyle back to, GL 51 from like 1995. Something like that. Like the Ron Mars, Daryl Banks style thing. Like, this feels just like that. It feels exactly like those books. Yeah. So Jeremy Adams isn't like, what he's doing isn't like unprecedented. Like this, it feels like Jeremy Adams was a fan of those Kyle Rayner books and wanted to write some. It's just, I think, tough for us right now, since that run, the Mars Banks run, to go through like all of that, Rebirth, Jeff Johns, Venditti, Morrison, all those dudes, and then get back to this point where Jeremy Adams feels like sort of he's doing stuff on the level of Jeff Johns, and then to go back to like 95, which was like, 30 years ago. It also doesn't help that like Green Lantern Corps number 16, I think hands down was the best Green Lantern Corps issue that we've had during this run, like, yet. And so, like, we read this thing and we're like, who's Toby Y2K? Like, I don't understand. And we didn't care for that issue. And then 2 weeks later, we see, like, I don't know your thoughts on it, but I think that Green Lantern Corps 16 is the best thing that's come out on that book in its entire run. And then we're back to this a couple weeks later. So it's a little bit tough to be like, man, I'm so on board with this classic 1995 Kyle story that takes place in Los Angeles. It's hard to sort of get back into that after that Aya issue from Green Lantern Corps.
I think Green Lantern Corps has continued to get better and better. I feel like it had a little bit of a, not necessarily a slow start, but there was like 3 or 4 issues where I was thinking to myself that, maybe it has already plateaued, and it's clearly not, because now it's gotten better and better. And then you also factor in, like, I'm reading Absolute Green Lantern. And in the recent issues, they were like, hey, all the things you thought you knew about the power levels and how they all worked and what meant what, some of those things still mean the same, like, categories, but, like, the power within them is different than what you think. You only think this because you were told this at the beginning of the run, but that doesn't mean it's true. Maybe it's, like, depending on who told you, it's accurate or not. And while, like, for me, it's hard to really keep up with, like, that aspect of it. Every time I open it up, I'm having a good time reading these issues. Like, ever since we got to issue 8 or 9 or whatever it was, from then on, I feel like it's finding its stride. So that book is on the rise. Absolute Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps is on the rise. And then we had that one-off with Guy Gardner, where he got his own little special time to shine. And I thought that was excellent, and I hope that they continue to do that for other alien Green Lanterns. Just give us a little bit of, like, insight into how they operate in their own sectors, the different day-to-days that they each all have. Like, it doesn't always need to be a human lantern, but I'd love to see that format continue as just, like, these special one-offs that we see for any of the ones who aren't the main featured showcase lantern. And then even Justice League Intergalactic had a bunch of Runway for Star Sapphire as a character. It's like all these good things. At some point, something has to be like the low man on the totem pole. And it does feel like since we had that high of 600, we've done like this soft reset, and now we're telling you like Kyle's backstory again. We're starting very small again, and then even when we get to the Hal stuff, it's like I'm not super interested or tied to Jaina or the Wonder Twins, and Toby Y2K, as far as I'm aware, is completely made up character.
Right.
And reading him in this book didn't really help me out.
Well, that's
I felt
the thing.
like he's
Is like
kind
I
of a
feel like
flimsy character.
I feel like Hal doesn't know who he is, and Jaina doesn't know who he is, and it's like Hal was basically in the book like, we're going to follow this guy, right? Because we're curious to see what this dude's deal is. So Hal's in the same boat as us. I preferred the Hal Jordan stuff in this issue than I did the Kyle and Odyssey stuff.
Yes.
But I'll say this, like, when Hal was going around and fighting all the different, like, teaming up with, like, Green Arrow and Batman and Flash, that was ground level stuff. That was all ground level stuff, and I enjoyed that more than I'm enjoying the Kyle Rayner stuff. I feel this is one of those things where I feel like this might be a story that's better to binge than to read monthly. I think once we start getting into this stuff, it'll start like, you know, once he starts collecting all of the fugitives from the science cells, like,
yeah.
I'm hoping the book
Odyssey not one of
continues
those?
to be. No,
I thought
she
he
showed up
broke
with
her out of a
Superboy.
science cell originally.
I don't remember. That would be great drama. You know,
Like they get super attached to each other. He even tells her at one point that he thought she looked great or something.
yeah.
And then the final part of that is he's got to put her back in the science cell if he wants to do right by the Green Lantern Corps. Yeah, that could be some good drama.
Yeah. There's something about it that reminds me of like Mandalorian Grogu. I don't know if you saw that movie.
I haven't, but I will.
There's no story. It's like plot, like things happen, but there's no character arcs. And so for this, like, what I did like about the Hal Jordan team ups right before 600 was that it still gave insight to Hal Jordan, who he was or who he is. So like with the Batman stuff, there's the little boy who's causing all this havoc mentally and doing this, like creating like Joker stuff. And it made Hal look within himself. It helped Batman look within himself, and there was like that kind of stuff. This is basically just fights. Like Kyle's not really learning anything. It might be part of a bigger story down the road, but it doesn't feel like there's much substance character-wise.
I mean, it feels like each issue Kyle has been in, there's a fight, and the fight is Kyle doesn't, not necessarily he doesn't take what he's fighting seriously, but because he's not trying to use all of his power, that thing he's going against does get the upper hand for a little bit, and then he has to realize halfway through, okay, this thing's stronger than I thought, so now I'm going to stand back and, you know, hit it with a giant club from far away. Or on this one, he's like, okay, you're tougher than you look, you're clearly not human, let me go ahead and drop this anvil on you, and then the fight's done at that point, and it's felt like that's side plot to us trying to get more invested in Odyssey, and now it's the whole, well, she has this, you know, marking on her face that's kind of like a star that they thought was a tattoo, but it's not. She's kind of hinted that she'd like to have it covered up, but maybe not. So now, like, what is it? Is it something that comes from a certain planet? Is it tied to a marking you get, maybe as the Time Bandit, because we still don't really know what that is? There's a lot more that goes into trying to build Odyssey up, who's not a Green Lantern, than there is building up Kyle, building up Hal, or, you know, any of the actual Green Lantern Corps.
The one thing that stood out to me, a part that I really actually liked a lot and really wasn't explored because it got fixed right away, was Kyle hits this dude in the face and completely like decapitates him.
Yeah. And he was
he has a couple of panels where he has this sort of this crisis going on in his head. The thing grows its head back because it's a crazy monster. It's not a person, but he's like, they would be after me. Batman would be after me. Everyone would be after me if I actually decapitated this dude.
Killed somebody. Yeah.
And like a couple panels later, he like smashes this thing with like what is like 100-ton
100-ton anvil. Yeah.
Weight. And it's like it's still a life. You know, like he did, like he felt bad for like a second that he decapitated a human, but when he found out it was like this crazy bug monster, then it seemed like it was okay to just like go full force and knock this dude silly.
I took it as like he kind of like when he fought the first guy, the other issue with the whole AI. Once he was able to like stand back, they're making him seem like he's more of a strategist than he is. Where he's like, oh, okay, now from here it's clear. I figured you out how much you can take, and here's just enough to, like, hurt you as much as I can without doing too much. And then for some reason it's like, okay, here he's calculated out that because this is a creature that I thought I had just decapitated, he's clearly not. He has to be alien, so he's way stronger than I thought. Let me go ahead and drop this thing on him because it'll immobilize him but not kill him, and then I'll be able to get my answers for what I need or whatever. Like, it's making it seem like Kyle's putting a lot more thought into restraining these characters, when to me Kyle wasn't always the like, I figured it out type. Like, he was always the more creative guy. So you'd see him do really cool, flashy stuff, unique constructs that the other Lanterns weren't doing because he was an artist. And that's what drew me more towards him. And we haven't seen too many. And again, they're ramping up. It's like the reset point. We're starting at the base. But we haven't gotten to see that. And I still, in the back of my mind, keep thinking about Kyle has made it clear, and I think it even happened in 600, that he still has the ability on a moment's notice to tap into the White Lantern power and have like this Super Saiyan moment. And at some point, that's got to get, brought up to the forefront. It's not something you just talk about. Sooner or later, they're going to have to show it too. And I'm hoping that maybe, like, if Kyle can become a White Lantern, is it possible for him to tap into the other colors, even if they're not White Lanterns? So maybe as he's Green Lantern right now, but maybe he fights something where he needs to use a little bit of fear. He can do some yellow stuff for a little bit. And then come back to being like, I don't know what the rules are here,
right?
Or if he just goes white because the white he can like do whatever. I don't know, but I want to see.
We know,
Kyle
yeah,
have
we
his
know
Super
he can
Saiyan
do the
moment.
white. We know he can do the white. He just is like, it's not as easy, and it's a little chaotic.
There's recovery time.
But for me, like, my wife is a fan of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and in that show, there's an episode where, I mean, she just mows down vampires left and right. No big deal. There's an episode where she kills someone who ends up just being a human. And the whole, like, fallout of that is, like, a big story point in that episode. And so for me, I'm like, if Kyle thought he killed a man, like, that's a fun story to explore. But it's such a small part of this book that I'm like, oh man, like, that was something that I found really interesting, because I think it's best when Kyle is sort of struggling with what he's doing.
Yeah.
Whether he's living in the shadow of Hal and he feels like he's not good enough, he has imposter syndrome, or he's like gotten so much power that it's like he's struggling how to use it, or how to, like, he feels like he shouldn't be able to be. Why is he the one? Why am I the one that's a Green Lantern? And it's like, just by chance. Why is he the one that's a White Lantern? And it's like, kind of just, that's how things fall in his lap. And it's always fun listening to Kyle sort of doubt himself. I think that's what makes the character interesting to me, because I feel like he's an everyday guy. He wasn't a Marine. He wasn't a test pilot. He's just an everyday guy. Like Spider-Man. That's what makes Spider-Man interesting. He's just a kid, like any other kid. And so for me, like seeing Kyle wrestle with real world like issues while like, you know, trying to see if what he's doing is right or wrong. Like I like that stuff. And I like that little bit in this, but that's all we got was a little bit. So I try to put
myself in like a new Green Lantern fan. Like if this is your jumping on point, you've hopped in at 600, you're here a couple issues in, and like you wonder like what separates Green Lanterns from other superheroes. What are some of their rules? Do they have a no-kill rule? Well, I think you just saw here, because at one point, the ring wouldn't let you do anything fatal to somebody.
Right.
But Kyle just had this moment in this issue where he was like, oh, shoot, I just killed this dude. So he himself was going to do... I mean, he wasn't intentional, but the ring would have allowed a fatal blow on this dude if, for whatever reason, like that's what was happening here. So if you're a new reader... It's not like a Batman thing where he's got this no-kill rule by design built into the ring. It can, but it's still not something that they want to do. And Green Lantern's having this thing that is like an ultimate weapon on a finger where they can just create constructs of whatever as long as it's got power. You still have to be careful how you use that power, even if it's like a fight like this where he didn't take it too serious at the start. But as it happened, he thought he was just doing something quick to get the guy off, and then thought he killed him. And then he talked about how he would have to wrestle with that. Like, it wouldn't be the end of the world. He's not going to get arrested, and he wouldn't be kicked out of, like, the Justice League for it, especially given context, like, he was being attacked. But it's still something they don't want to do. And maybe that will help set up some of the story that we will get to, where maybe while trying to restrain these other people who belong in the science cells, it doesn't go the way that he would like it to. And that's when he's got to tap into that higher power as like maybe a White Lantern to restrain him to the point where he's getting them put back in the science cells without killing them. Or will we get to a moment where, you know, he kind of doesn't have a choice because some of these guys that he might have to put back are so strong that he can't think of a way to get them back in. Like, it's something that can be explored. I feel like Jeremy's trying to, like, give people some information about the Green Lantern Corps if this is like your starting point and you're new to this, while still trying to like give his backstory that a lot of people already know. For me, I just wish we would have less Toby Y2K, who's kind of like a piece of crap, and even less Odyssey. Yeah, like Toby was out here rescuing Hal to try to sell him out. To somebody else for money. And then, you know, when they said that they were going to kill Hal, then he was like, oh, well, that's not what I agreed to. But like, I don't know, his whole story is weird to me too, where it seemed like he's got to be from a different timeline or something.
Where the Y2K bug actually wipes stuff out. Yeah.
Yes, because like that's obviously not what happened here for us. And I thought they were going to say something to him about that during the issue, and they didn't. But, you know, hopefully we just sat through this filler issue so that we find out that one of the creatures that Kyle does need to apprehend and get back in the science cells happens to be Dr. Skin, or whatever has taken over Dr. Skin. And then we can get, you know, he can realize, you know, doing this bodyguard thing, that's not my true calling here. I'm meant to be a Green Lantern in the Green Lantern Corps, get these creatures back into their science cells. So I've got to leave Odyssey, let her do her thing in Hollywood, and I need to get back on the track of finding the baddies, apprehending the baddies, and getting them back to Oa.
Yeah. I went back and I looked at the Hal Jordan story, and Hal's ring is back. I forgot that last month that the ring wasn't drawn on his finger on any panel.
Not one time.
Like, we're really like, oh, so is this actually the Krona version of Hal? This issue, definitely he has the ring on there. And mostly it's a circle. It's just a circle. I wonder if it was an afterthought. Like, oh, shoot, there's no rings. Quick, put a circle on his.
Get one back in
finger.
quick.
Yeah. Dave mentions that if the show brings new fans to the comics, will these stories attract or basically repel or overwhelm them? I don't know.
I think any attempt to bring people to comic books is good. If they stick with it and they find some runs that they enjoy, or even if it's not Green Lantern, but they decide they like Aquaman or something, I think that is great if people at least put in the attempt. But if it's not for them, it's not for them, and that's fine. But, you know, I try to just applaud people who will give it a go and maybe get out of their comfort zone and try reading comics. And, you know, some people only like mangas or whatever. But if you convince any of them to read Green Lantern and Green Lantern sales go up and we get more Green Lantern stuff, that's cool with me.
I'm hoping that, you know how, like, when you watch the trailer for Supergirl, at the end they show, like, check out this story, check out Supergirl, and they have, like, a card that shows Woman of Tomorrow, Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow, there, like, as a poster. I wish they would do that with Lanterns and pop this bad boy up. Secret Origins. Because in the trailer, John mentions how you got the ring, and Hal says, you know how I got the ring. And I feel like this might be a good story to suggest to people if they do watch the show and become a fan, because it's a self-contained story. It's got Hal's origin. You get the Ab and Sur stuff. You get the Sinestro being a trainer. And you get some Atrocitus. So I think, like, I'm hoping, like, if they do that thing where they say, check out Green Lantern comics, I hope that this is the one they show. I think this would be, I'm assuming that this would be the origins similar to what we're going to see in the show if they show, like, a flashback.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Speaking of cool covers, you know, that Earth 1 cover that has Hal with, like, the nice little green around him, and he's going to be a Green Lantern. And then John on the Earth 1 cover is
yellow.
He's yellow.
Yeah.
Now I've been seeing this theory pop up online a lot lately, like, what if the reason John doesn't have a ring is because Hal is seeking a replacement for Sinestro's ring, not his own ring. And maybe there's some extra there. And then maybe that's why John is also getting infused with some yellow energy in the teasers when he's on the ground and they're shooting him with a gun. Maybe John goes yellow for a little bit. I don't know, but it's fun to think about.
How about this? This might be fun too, is it's inevitable that John will get the Green Lantern ring. And Hal's going to have to give it up.
And
will he go to
Sinestro?
Go to Sinestro to say, hey, where can I get another ring? And Sinestro could say, well, you know that one I have. You know where that is, don't you?
You can go to the Weaponers on Quard, a yellow planet with some extra moons.
I'm totally
in the
fine with Hal becoming Parallax.
I'm at the point now where it's like,
I don't even care what they do. Listen,
I just want it to be done well in the show. Yeah. Whatever they are doing, I want it to be done well.
You know where they didn't do it well was Green Lantern Beware My Power animated.
I knew you were going to say it. Also very much agree. But that's also taking like 5 different Green Lantern stories of different characters and rolling them into a John story and a Hal story that's not really a John and Hal story, but they wanted to have Hal in the movie too, so they added that. Like, there's so much of Beware My Power that, one, I really wanted to like, because I knew it was going to be at least like high-end 1080 quality, because it was going to be put on Blu-rays. Yeah. We were getting a movie, animated one, you know, there was a couple that were hit or miss, and I was like, oh, we're going to get something pretty decent here. And then watching that movie, it was like, I don't think I went on the internet for a couple days after I watched it, because I just didn't want to see the negativity on Reddit reinforce what I was already thinking anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of issues I have with that movie. But I have it right up here.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I pre-ordered it on on Apple TV like a month or something before it came out. I was so excited to see it because we've had Green Lantern First Flight, Green Lantern Emerald Knights, and then like New Frontier, which I think might be the best of those. So I was like, oh, it's so random that they're just decided to make a Green Lantern, another Green Lantern animated thing. And I'm like, they must have something like that they really are excited to talk about in order to go through like the voice casting, the animation, the music and everything. And they're like, I'm like, wow, this is great. And there's a Jeff Johns interview, or there's like an interview featurette with Jeff Johns, and they're talking about like Jon Stewart and stuff. And I'm like, man, they're really hyping this thing up. It's kind of cool. And then I watched it, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? It's so bad. I haven't covered it on the show, but maybe at some point, maybe I could find a fan who actually likes that thing and then have a discussion and try to sort out what they like about it. Because I just did not, it's not good.
It didn't hit for me either.
When fans are like, they're going to do Hal dirty in the show, and I'm like, well, WB would never do that. And I'm like, oh, wait, but they did.
Yeah.
And I like the animation style, the sort of like thick outlines with the thin, like I thought the art style was cool, but the story was just, man, they just bastardized John's story. They bastardized Hal's story. Like, listen, I'm okay if Hal is a bad guy in yellow, but like, you gotta make it good. You can't just, it felt so off.
It felt like a movie where, while it was written, sometimes you hear horror stories about studio interference. I feel like somebody should have interfered more with what the actual story of that thing was, and been like, I don't know, guys, do we need it like this? Like, was John the character that does this? Will people enjoy that we're using John to tell the story, even though this is something from Kyle and this other thing is from Hal? But we're going to have Hal in the movie, too. We're going to turn him bad. He's going to do terrible things to Oliver Queen. There was just so much in that movie where I was like, I'm watching it and just enjoying visuals and thinking to myself, I'm probably never going to talk to anybody about this ever again after I'm done watching this.
I watched it once, and that was it.
And that's where I'm at. It's the only one I've watched one time, and that's it.
The DC app, or the DC YouTube channel, posted a clip from it. I didn't even watch the clip. I just jumped into the comments. I was like, I've only watched it once, and I said maybe I should try giving it another shot. And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that unless I'm covering it for the show. But I don't.
Maybe what we can do is after Lanterns comes out and we get through all the post-season finale hype and things start to die down again, maybe we can do a combo of like, let's start over from the first movie, watch it, and then come onto the show and talk about, First Flight, and talk about, a couple weeks later, come back, we talk about Emerald Knight, and kind of go through each of the movies, and then we'll have watched Beware My Power for a second time each. Probably still not enjoyed it.
You know what I think? I've never done like a live react to anything.
I'm just always worried about how to do it where I don't get hit with copyright.
Right. I've seen other channels do it. They put it small in a circle in the screen and they flip the image or whatever they do to it. I can do that in Riverside, no problem. So it might not be a live episode, but I might do like an edited, cut down version of a react video. Where it's like I don't know, like 20 minutes long. But it's just I'm gonna be ruthless to it. But I feel like much like this issue of Green Lantern 35, I feel like any time that I don't like something, it's probably better for me personally on the channel, because like people tend to go to places where they have glowing reviews on stuff and call you a shill and say that you're getting paid and all this stuff. Like, it's stuff like this that I need so I can point people to it and say, hey, listen, no one's paying me anything. I'm buying this stuff, and these reviews are genuine. So if, I might really like a lot of Green Lantern stuff, and I might do a lot of things. Like, I liked the first trailer. It made me super happy. I saw the ring. I saw the power battery. I saw the suit. I saw Kyle Chandler say Hal Jordan Green Lantern. There was Green Lantern stuff in it that I really appreciated and I was really on board with. But, because the whole internet apparently seems to hate it, they look at me as the guy who, this guy likes it. He's a shill. Hopefully people understand that, like, they need to come and visit us for, Green Lantern 34, 35 and a Beware My Power, to where they can see, like, this guy is like a real deal. I'm not, DC's not giving me shit to say anything.
Yeah. Still, leave me the hater comments in the comments. I'll take that free engagement for sure.
Yeah. People are still getting mad at me in like shorts, YouTube shorts that I posted like a year ago, like getting mad at James Gunn. Someone was so mad at Jason Momoa because Jason Momoa is the biggest traitor in Hollywood, where Zack Snyder gifted him Aquaman, and as soon as James Gunn came on, immediately decided that he was going to do Lobo and turn his back on the Snyderverse. And I was just like, all right, man, thanks for the comment. It'll help my engagement. But it's like, I'm like, I can't, what do I even say to that? Like, Jason Momoa, even before he was Aquaman, thought he was getting Lobo.
Correct.
So it's like,
what you do is you just write something else that's also completely ridiculous, and then see if they will comment back again after that, and just keep the free engagement going. That way, it'll say like, Lantern's live video's got 250 comments on it, but it's just one dude 125 times just saying off the wall stuff. It'll still hit the algorithm the same.
I love it. I used to do stuff like that on Twitter where I just respond like I'd play dumb. Dumb. And it was so fun just to like kind of troll the comments. But yeah, that one got me. That was like literally like the day before yesterday. A guy was still talking about the Snyderverse and calling Momoa a traitor. And I'm like,
it became a very big cult. It surprises me.
Yeah, I don't get it. I used to love those movies. I still like them. I just don't watch them anymore because of the sort of weird, aggressive support they get now. Like, I don't want to be part of that. I want to like those movies, but it's really tough. Like, with people just like being so hateful, toxic, and mean. Like going after James Gunn, saying that Jason Momoa is a traitor. Like, dude wants to play Lobo. He's born for that role. No one called Chris Evans a traitor for not being Johnny Storm anymore.
The Human Torch, yeah.
So it's like, fine, guys. It's okay. It's movies.
You know what James Gunn's bringing us now? Especially in canon, like a Guy Gardner, a Hal Jordan, and a Jon Stewart to our televisions and our movie screens. And in the Snyderverse, we didn't get any of those three.
Right.
I think we had like Kilowog, and then we had
Kilowog, not Arcus.
Yalen Gurr. Yeah, and then an unofficial does not count Jon Stewart in a driveway that never made it to the big screen. So to me, that doesn't count. That
picture of Wayne T. Cart like floating around everywhere where the ring's on the wrong finger, and I'm like, if you guys are going to do this stuff, be actual fans that understands where the ring needs to be. So for me, I'm like, yeah, but I gotta say, like the dead Kilowog looked like it was a great design. And then Arcus with the chest emblem popping out looked comic accurate. Like, it looked really good. But yeah, I don't know. WB just didn't want John in that movie. So they did 2 introductions
of
Martian Manhunter.
Or Guy or Kyle or any of like the popular ones that people would know.
Yeah. So whatever. Again, I think Ben Affleck was awesome. Henry Cavill was awesome. Gal Gadot was fine. It was just, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's a new era, a new dawn.
And then the thing that kind of drives me up the wall is that Zack Snyder keeps like fanning the flames. Like he's got to know what he's doing.
I think he does it in a way that he has like an out to be like, oh, I didn't know people were going to interpret it this way on this specific day that I dropped it while something else happened that people would definitely interpret as like me taking a shot or me trying to summon the people to get me the universe back. You should just be honest with people, Zach, and just tell them, even if, Paramount's the new boss and they don't like James Gunn's DCU, the Snyderverse is not coming back. They're not spending all this time away and then bringing back all the same cast and people and characters, and the story's not going to pick up from where it was before anyway.
You think Ben Affleck's going to suit back up? No,
and they're not going to put that kid back in as the Flash.
No one wants him. No one wants Ezra Miller. Nobody wants
that Ezra Miller
anymore. But the thing is, it's like he's kind of reminding me of Grant Morrison, where he just sounds whiny and he wants his job back.
Yeah.
It's like we're fine.
But Grant, to his credit, admit that that's exactly what his feelings were, and that he was a little sore. He just happened to take it out on Damon and Damon's joke. Because he thought, honestly, he's got a little newsletter that he didn't think many people would read, and it wouldn't make the rounds like that and get the attention of all these people. But yeah, he admit himself that he was feeling petty about the situation and hadn't even seen the footage when he made the comment. So I can appreciate and respect the fact that he at least owned up to it, where I still feel like Zach does a lot of baiting people online on like the anniversary of XYZ, or, oh, here's a new shot of Hal. Well, here's John in a driveway that you've seen 16, every time I post it, it's the same one. I think he does a lot of that.
Yeah. I think Chris Mundy can do the funniest thing.
And what's that?
Grant Morrison on season 2.
Dude, that's honestly, I was thinking that would be perfect. Like,
we definitely get aliens. Can you imagine the live action Volk? Like, let's do it.
I think it would be awesome because you'd be.
I think so too.
Lindelof and King, being the comic guys, are sort of stepping away because they have other projects that they have to work on. And then you have Mundy, who's got the Bible from season 1 on like what this is. He's probably got the outline for what season 2 would be already. It's just not the episode by episode breakdown of like what will happen in each episode. And to have another comic guy in Grant Morrison come on, he's got great credits to his name, both on TV and in comics. I think that that's a win for everybody. Plus, that would help heal that relationship a little bit, where he wouldn't feel so salty towards WB and HBO and them. And I think everybody wins in that scenario.
Listen, here's the thing. Like, as much as I didn't super care for his run on Green Lantern, I think he does have an idea of what the source material is, and he really likes doing weird stuff. And if season 2 could be, less True Detective and more cosmic, I think he would add that to the show, and I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, and I think that it's great to model yourself out as a True Detective type thing for season 1. But I don't think that they should limit it to that for all future seasons. And I think that, like you're saying, if they want to go more cosmic in season 2, I think that's okay. I think if in season 3 they want to go a little bit more like horror element type thing, because that's a story that they find interesting, that they think people would dig, I don't think they should have to stick to one thing. This is the Green Lantern Corps. There's lanterns for thousands of sectors with thousands of stories being told all the time in their own little worlds. Like, we can have crazy stuff, and then that's just the Greens. Could we maybe get a future season of Lanterns where we start following folks who are in the Sinestro Corps? Yeah. There's all these different ways that they can do it that, again, having a Grant Morrison around would be great. But I also would like them to continue this thing where they bring on, Mundy's the main guy, he's the showrunner, but bring me another elite TV writer like Damon Lindelof, and bring me a comic book guy like Tom King. So every season you have like the 3 heads at the table, right? To keep balance are the showrunner, a comic guy, and a TV guy, so that they can all have this conversation and adjust things and go, well, this works in comics, but how is this going to work over 8 episodes of TV? Or this would be really cool to do, but it doesn't tie in any way at all. It's completely off base from where these characters are in the comics, so maybe we don't do this. Like, that kind of balance, I think, could do wonders for them for future seasons. I don't know. I'm just really excited talking about Lanterns. I can't wait.
We're getting a season 2. We know it. We already know who one of the writers is. We know Chris Mundy's back, and that Damon Lindelof and Tom King, along with Mundy, created a show Bible, which means those are the rules of how this thing's going to move forward. And so I'm pretty excited for all that. If people are still sticking around here, Will, let them know where they can find you.
The easiest way to find me doing anything is go to greenlanternspodcast.com. And then if you want to follow me on social media, there's clickable links at the top to each of the platforms that I'm on. If you want to go to my YouTube, that's where most of my content is. Yeah, write articles here and there on the website, but it's mostly the YouTube thing, releasing podcasts, and coming on over here to Lanterns Live. So if you're just a passerby and you haven't subscribed already to Lanterns Live, now's the time to hit that little button and go do it.
Yeah, everybody follow Will too. Since the last time we talked, you hit 3,000. I'm excited that you're moving up in the ranks. We're definitely grateful to the DCU for that, because when anytime there's new Lantern stuff in the public eye, whether it's Nathan Fillion, whether it's the show Lanterns, we see an uptick in viewership. So highly recommend everybody check out both channels. If you're interested in Lanterns and you don't, but you don't really haven't read the books or seen anything, or you're new to the world of Green Lantern, just drop some comments below. Ask for recommendations. I'll definitely have recommendations for you. If you want a quick watch, if you want to watch a movie, if you want to watch a series, or whatever you want to do, we definitely have recommendations for you for Green Lantern stuff. So cool, man. I think that's it. Thanks for everybody for joining. I'll have a members only stream on Monday. So if you're an Honor Guard member, that's 99 cents a month, and you can get member only streams, including all the previous ones we've done. I think this will be my 8th one or 9th one. And then you get emojis and badges and all kinds of stuff. And it's 99 cents. Join me on Monday for that. And then next week, I think I have something in mind, but I'm not sure quite yet. So I'll be back Wednesday for another Lanterns Live. So until then, beware my podcast. It is Lanterns Live. Bye.